Okay, we have a very direct and very straightforward article from Nick Hoffman here. Again, a article from BitcoinMagazine.com entitled Congressman Matt Gaetz introduces bill to allow federal income tax payments in Bitcoin. The article begins, Congressman Matt Gaetz, Republican of Florida, has introduced legislation to allow federal income tax payments to be made in Bitcoin. And it says, exclusively reported first by the Daily Wire, this bill aims to amend the Internal Revenue Code of 1986, instructing the Treasury Secretary to develop a plan for accepting Bitcoin. According to Gaetz, his proposal aims to modernize the tax payment process by allowing federal income tax to be paid with BTC. Gaetz told the Daily Wire, by enabling taxpayers to use Bitcoin for federal tax payments, we can promote innovation, increase efficiency, and offer more flexibility to American citizens. This is a bold step towards a future where digital currencies play a vital role in our financial system, ensuring that the U.S. remains at the forefront of technological advancement. The legislation would require the Treasury Secretary to establish regulations for the acceptance of Bitcoin, including specifying when payments are considered received and mandating the immediate conversion of Bitcoin to its dollar equivalent. Additionally, the bill includes provisions for handling related non-tax matters, contracts, fees, and liability. The Secretary shall develop and implement a method to allow for the payment with Bitcoin of any tax imposed on an individual under this title. The bill reads, the Secretary shall prescribe such regulations as the Secretary deems necessary to receive payments by Bitcoin, including regulations that specify when payment by such means will be considered received, require the immediate conversion of any Bitcoin amount received to its dollar equivalent at the conclusion of any transaction. This announcement comes following a recent explosion in Bitcoin support amongst U.S. politicians. Presidential candidates Trump and Robert F. Kennedy Jr. both accept Bitcoin payments, while it was reported that the Biden campaign is also in talks to accept cryptocurrency donations. Biden admin officials are expected to make an appearance at a Bitcoin roundtable in Washington, D.C. in a few weeks, hosted by Congressman Ro Khanna, as a response to Donald Trump embracing Bitcoin, pledging to ensure that the future of crypto and the future of Bitcoin will be made in America. Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong also recently met with both Democrat and Republican senators in D.C. to discuss creating clear rules for the crypto industry. A couple weeks ago, U.S. Congressman Thomas Massie stated that he decided to introduce a bill to end the Federal Reserve after reading the Bitcoin Standard Book. End of article. So, in summary and in conclusion, we have a firebrand Congressman Matt Gaetz from Florida, should be the 1st District of Florida, introducing legislation asking for the Secretary of Treasury to create the format and rules and procedures to accept Bitcoin as if it were equal to the US dollar. So it seems that right now the United States government probably only receives USD as opposed to Canadian dollars or Hong Kong dollars, whatever. But this might expand that to Bitcoin as a form of payment. What isn't explained would be, what if it's Bitcoin Cash? What if it's Ethereum? So there's a sort of long tail, if you will, of other hypotheticals. So how to really define Bitcoin versus fiat or USD, right? Because there is some significant nuance and technicality. What exactly is Bitcoin versus Bitcoin Cash or Bitcoin Gold or etc. So that would be ideal. Does this bill have any chance of advancing further in the House and then crossing over to the Senate and then being signed into law by the president, or by default becoming law if the president doesn't sign? That's up to debate. It's interesting to note, as we've covered in a recent article, that Democratic California Congressman Ro Khanna is holding an event, but it says here at the bottom of the article that both President Trump and Robert Kennedy Jr. are both accepting Bitcoin payments for their campaigns. And then, unlike FTX's Sam Bankman-Fried, it says here, the penultimate sentence of this article, that Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong also recently met with both Democrat and Republican senators in D.C. to discuss creating clear rules for the crypto industry. So it seems that those that are not in prison, that are still running legitimate companies and in this case a publicly traded company, Coinbase, are being thought leaders and are leading the way to um, consulting and advising people that are either Republican or Democrat to be educated, be brought up to date, be made aware, and then perhaps guide them in how they should craft legislation, to create clear rules for the crypto industry, as it says in this quote. Um, so that's our 2 cents, our 2 Satoshi on this article. That's a good bit of news. Seems that we might be hitting a critical mass of neither party, and following El Salvador's lead, no government can truly avoid Bitcoin at this point. So they might as well embrace it or get ahead of the curve and then therefore get the lion's share of the activity. That's certainly Trump's point. It's unfortunate that wasn't Trump's point back in 2015, 2016, but might have been way too premature back then, and those surrounding Trump might have not been so educated. So it's taken time for people to catch up to where some of us have been for many, many, many years already. So interesting article. Happy to share that with everybody. Looking forward to getting more bills that are common sense and doing a bit of service to all those that are forced to pay taxes in the U.S. government to get legislation passed that makes sense and is actually pragmatic.